Yes, this is Josh from Grains Academy, and we're back again for part 2 of how to read a food label. In part 1, we discussed organic labels and what they mean, and also price lookup codes. In this episode, we'll discuss percent daily values, food claims, and also product dates. I hope you enjoy. The percent daily values are normally located on the right side of a food label and are represented by a number followed by a percentage sign. The percent daily value is a reference amount of a nutrient to consume or not to exceed each day. It's how much a nutrient in a serving of the food contributes to a total daily diet. So if we look at the food label, at the saturated fat column, we see that eating 4 cookies would satisfy 30% of our saturated fat needs. If we go down to vitamin C, we'll see that eating 4 cookies will satisfy 8% of our vitamin C needs for the day. The percent daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So if you're eating fewer calories, your daily value will be lower, and vice versa for higher amount of calories. Make sure when comparing food products, you always check the serving sizes. So if you look at this label, the serving size, so one serving size would be 4 cookies. So you eat 4 cookies, you would be consuming 220 calories. If you only ate 2 cookies, then that would be 110 calories, and that would only give you 15% of your saturated fat needs or 4% of your vitamin C needs. A food with low nutrient content are basically unhealthy foods, junk foods, has 5% daily value or less of a nutrient per serving. So if we look at this label, we see vitamin A is 0%, calcium is 2%, vitamin C is 0%, iron is 6%. So this is an example of a food with low nutrient content. So a food with a moderate or good amount of nutrients has a daily value between 6 and 19%. So if you look at this food label, this is a moderate source of vitamin A and vitamin C. Foods with high nutrient content have 20% daily value or more of a specific nutrient. So if we look at the same food label, although it's a moderate source for vitamin A and C, it's a rich source for calcium and iron. The sell by sticker or stamp is how long the manufacturer suggests that a store should sell foods like meat, poultry, eggs, or milk. So basically how long these foods should stay on the shelf. The use by stamp is how long foods will be at peak quality. Foods may be stale or less tasty after this date. And this is the one most of us are familiar with, especially with milk. You know, it has the date that it goes rotten. Usually you can drink it a day or 2 after. But for most foods, the use by date is the last date you want to have them you want to consume them before that use by date. The best if used by stamp is how long food has the best flavor or highest nutrient quality. So foods that haven't been consumed by that date may not taste as good. They may get a smell like rotten milk, or the nutrient quality might be lower nutrient quality than if you ate it before. Fat-free means the foods have less than 0.5 grams of fat per serving. But this doesn't mean the food is healthy. Normally when companies remove fat from a product, they have to add sugar so that it will taste good. So when you see a low fat claim, always check the sugar content. Low fat means that it has 3 grams of fat or less per serving. And again, just like fat-free, check the sugar content to make sure it's not loaded with sugar. Reduced fat means it has at least 25% less fat than regular versions of those foods. Foods with low sodium have 140 milligrams or less per serving. And foods with very low sodium have 35 milligrams or less per serving. It doesn't mean these foods are healthy. Normally, if they take the salt out, they have to add more fat for texture or more sugar for taste. So if you see low sodium or very low sodium, always check the fat and sugar content. Foods that are low cholesterol have 20 milligrams or less of cholesterol and 2 grams or less of saturated fat per serving. No added sugar means there was no sugar or sweeteners added to the food, but it can still contain natural sugars like those found in fruit or dairy. Normally when they take sugar out of a food, they increase the fat for texture and taste. Yes, that wraps up part 2 of how to read a food label. Hopefully after watching this, you're able to use the percent daily value to either calculate how many nutrients or lack of nutrients are in a certain food product, or count the calories if you're one who does that. I also hope this makes you a more informed shopper. So now you know how these companies use these various claims to get your money. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go check out part 1. And don't forget to like or subscribe.